So on the first podcast, we actually
oh yeah, that's right.
we talked about our drink preferences, and everyone when they first heard that were like, "Oh, they're gonna talk about like alcoholic drinks." We talked about fucking water and tea. So I'm curious, and I'm sure many others are too now. Do you have a drink of choice as far as alcohol goes? I know you're not much of a drinker, but
I mean, I remember one time I took a sip of Budweiser.
Beer, okay.
Yeah, it was all right. And then one of my friends introduced me, and I think we had in the group chat. Actually, we did have it in the group chat. It's the Red Apple, or Orchard.
What is it, a cider or something? Oh shit! Yeah.
That stuff was banging.
Yeah.
That stuff was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
Are you talking about Angry Orchard? Angry Orchard?
Sorry. It was Wicked. It was
Wicked.
Like,
okay.
It was like apple something.
Sure.
Wicked Orchard.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that stuff was good.
See, I'm not a fan of. It's funny because I like fruity drinks, but I don't like fruity beers. When I started working at my current job, they used to do this for years until someone complained about it. I just happened to be there for the last year that they did this for Oktoberfest. They got a bunch of beers, but it was all Samuel Adams, which is fine.
My dad loves Samuel Adams.
But it was all these like really fruity kind of beers that I tried, and I was like, I can't have. I don't like this. I like Miller Lite. I like Bud. I like a lot of light beers, but I like Stella. I've tried Guinness. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of darker drinks in general, but that's just me. But my go-to, I think I might have mentioned this the first time too, but it really depends on what I'm eating. So if I'm having like a fancier dinner, generally I'll prefer like a nice red wine.
Yeah.
I do like white wine here and there too.
I like red wine.
I prefer red wine, don't get me wrong, but I do like white wine as well.
What was that wine that you had here that one time that I was sipping on?
The one that I get this. Oh, it's such like a mom wine kind of thing, but I can never remember what it's fucking called. I'm gonna search for it while I'm talking about it, but you can get it at any grocery store and shit like that. It's blackberry, the kind specifically that I had that we drank last time you were here.
Yeah, that stuff was pretty good.
What I ordered while we were out though was just a general Pinot. I don't know how these fucking. I'm not a fucking wine snob and shit. Okay, I don't know how that's just pronounced. So if anyone's gonna be like, oh, I don't care. Okay, I just know it tastes good.
Oh man.
Some people get really
offended.
Well, they have a pride to it, like what you drink, what you call it, or like snobs and stuff. But an interesting thing was found out that wine snobs, most of, if not all of them, are actually faking it. There was a bit about it on. You're familiar with the show Adam Ruins Everything, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So there was actually a bit about it on that where the whole concept of how that's bullshit. how it's like people who act like, oh yes, this you can really taste. It's just a whole bunch of bullshit. Like that's
man, you lying right out of your teeth.
But I'm sure I have a picture of this somewhere. I gotta find out. Like I said, it comes in this glass bottle and it has this like long.
Okay.
I can never remember what it's fucking called.
Yeah. So in conclusion, one of my go-to drink is that Angry Red Orchard beer. I don't even know what it's called.
We're gonna pronounce everything wrong, and people are just gonna be like, "You fucking idiots."
Yeah. Well, in the comments.
Yeah.
Put down the right.
Go ahead. Tell us.
Yeah. Tell us.
Tell us how fucking wrong we are about wine, and I'll tell you how much I don't care. I don't know. I mean, I care enough, but I don't hold like a pride to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand it because, like, when people pronounce things just blatantly wrong, like when people, for example, I found it. It's called Arbor Mist. Specifically, it's what we had last time. It's Arbor Mist Merlot, blackberry, and again, it's just you can get it at any liquor store, any grocery store, anything, but. I enjoy it. You know, like I said, I enjoy what I enjoy, and that's all there is to it. Yeah. But people that pronounce things completely, like people that pronounce Mario, oh, you know what I mean?
Come on, it's Mario.
But here's the thing.
Come on, people.
But here's the thing. That's just an accent thing, right? People who pronounce it that way, that's just how they fucking say it.
You're right.
They're not doing it intentionally, as much as it annoys me.
Mario.
Yeah, like, they say Mario. But,
Mario. It's Mario, man. What you doing?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, pronunciations and accents and all that. Those.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I get kind of tripped up on pronunciations. All that kind of stuff. Things
like, so, for example, like tomato, potato.
Yeah.
Tomato, for example, that's generally an English pronunciation of saying tomato. You know, they'll say like tomato soup, you know, or something like that instead of tomato. The one thing I never understood is, you know, like marinara sauce on pizza, right? A lot of people will refer to that as red sauce. And I never understood that. I guess they refer to Alfredo as white sauce, but generally they still refer to Alfredo sauce as Alfredo sauce. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you going to refer to them by their colors or are you not? Like, Jesus. I don't know.
I'm going to have some noodles with some red sauce.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alfredo sauce is pretty jamming, though.
It is.
I prefer that over red sauce. For all you people out there who just say the sauces by their color. I don't know. It's, I don't know. Whatever, you know, to each their own. People like,
whatever.
Like, you know, if you're brought up saying, oh, this is red sauce, then, you know, it's red sauce. If you're brought up saying it's marinara.
You know what? And it's funny. I definitely can't fault them for that because I'll tell you a story. So, I grew up, I guess, having a lot of terms for foods and drinks and stuff that are not what they actually are. So, like, when I was a child, and granted, I was a child at the time, but still, I was like 5 or 6. I was at this restaurant with my parents, and my mom would always order eggs over easy.
Oh, I remember you telling me
this. I did, and she would refer to them as dippy eggs because she would take her toast and she would dip them in the yolk, right?
Yeah.
So I order eggs and again, I'm like 4 or 5, 6, something like that, right? So I order eggs. They're like, and how would you like them? And I say, dippy.
Dippy?
What the fuck?
What are you doing, man?
What the hell does, like, what the fuck does that mean, right?
Dippy eggs.
And I have a few more funny things. Jeez. So when I was, and I was too old for this it shouldn't have been a thing, but I was about 10 or 11, probably 10, maybe even 9, somewhere around there, right? Late elementary school.
Yeah.
We're in PE class.
Oh, jeez.
This person is drinking a Gatorade.
Yeah.
You know, they're cooling off. They're drinking some Gatorade. Now, my mother would always put, and she still does this, she puts tea in Gatorade bottles. She would always get Gatorade bottles and give them to me or my dad to drink. And we drink the Gatorade, and she'd use them to put her tea in. You know, that's just how she would store her tea, because she would brew it herself and everything, and you know, and that, you know, whatever. So I grew up knowing, and I still, when I think of those bottles, I don't think of them as Gatorade bottles. I think of them as tea bottles. So I asked this kid,
tea bottles. What
are you drinking there? And he's like, Gatorade, and even had the Gatorade label on it. He's like, Gatorade? I'm like, why are you drinking Gatorade out of a tea bottle? And he was like, what? So, you know, it's interesting how those things work. That, and then the last one I have is, this is a common one everyone does, right? But it's like, you know, waiter or waitress asks you, you know, oh, would you like soup or salad? Well, I don't know, that sounds like a lot of salad. But, you know, when I was first asked, I was legitimately just like, sure. And they're like, no, so would you like soup or salad? Yes, sure, I'll take that. And then they're like, no, soup or salad. I'm like, oh, okay.
Now the light bulb goes on.
Because, and to be fair, that to an extent has to do with how we talk and how we kind of slur our words a little bit.
Super salad.
Oftentimes we don't say or, we say
Soup
you know?
first, yeah.
So would you like soup or salad? Soup or salad? Okay, sounds like a lot, but sure. I guess I'll have a super salad. You know, like yeah, exactly.
No. Soup or salad.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
But it's interesting how like what you like, you know, what you grew up around, what you're taught, and different things. How much your perspective changes everything. Because like in that instance,
I was terrible as a little kid eating stuff.
Yeah.
Story time.
Oh boy, here we go.
So when I was like, you know, I was a kid. I was like 5, maybe 6, maybe 4. Anyways, so you know the Flintstone gummy vitamins?
Yeah, of course.
I was convinced that if I took those, they would get lodged in my throat.
Really?
And I would die. I would choke on them and just die.
Huh.
And my mom was like, you know, they're not going to kill you.
Yeah.
You chew them. They're gummies. You chew them, you just chew them, okay? And I'm telling you, I was convinced that, like, I would chew them or swallow them if I didn't want to chew them, and they'd get lodged in my throat, and I'd die. And so my mom would be like, okay, all right. So she would, like, get, like, a milkshake blender and put, like, a bunch of milkshake stuff, like ice cream, you know, that kind of stuff. And then she'd take that one gummy, put it in the blender. It'd all be blended up, and that's how I take my vitamins.
Well, I actually have a similar story to that because I never had a problem with vitamins like that, but until I was about 16, I didn't know how to swallow pills. So anytime I had a pill, anytime I would get medication that was in pill form, I would have to, or more often my mother would crush up my pill and like put it with like either like cinnamon or powdered sugar or some shit, and I would have to just, you know, take a spoonful of that. And when I was about 15 or 16, I started going on Accutane, which is it's a pill that you take to make acne subside, because I had a problem with acne for a while. A lot of people do, you know.
I was pizza boy.
And, yeah, you were pizza boy.
It was bad. And then I think once I hit like 18, I think it was 18, it just was all gone. I was
well, fuck you too.
Thank you.
but I took this, and I eventually just kind of taught myself how to take the damn pill.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I'm so glad I learned how to swallow pills, because it's been so good ever since. But it was tough. It was tough for a long time to be able to do that. But I wanted to delve in a little bit on the concept of how you perceive things, right? Because you see something like, you know, like you hear like for me, I was raised believing that you put tea in Gatorade bottles, and those are tea bottles, right?
Yeah.
So to me, they'll always be tea bottles. That's just what they are. But to anybody else, that's just completely wrong. But that's my reality.